When I first arrived in New York City in the mid-60s, I thought of myself as a composer. But for purposes of surviving, the bass became the more concentrated thing to do. I was going through sort of a little difficult passage at the time when I sat at the piano, and this sound, you know how it is, ideas can knock and say, "Here, take me." And I played this little phrase, and it seemed to give me a bit of comfort. I felt the blues, in other words. I played the melody, and it pleased me, and I wrote it down. Slippin and Slidin was one of my favorite tunes at the time. The sound of it reminded me of when I was just before arriving in New York City. I was with Dinah Washington, performing with her trio. And in Chicago at a place called the Regal Theater, we were slated to replace Dizzy Gillespie's trio with his big band. And so for the first time I heard a quality of sound out of a big band, unlike anything that I had heard before. I heard a sound that was magic, so it just really touched me. Anytime I'm sitting at the piano now, it brings a little bit of joy when I play it occasionally, because it reminds me of something that, I achieved to give me a bit of contact with the more positive aspects of where I was heading at the time. Slippin and Slidin means, just barely getting somewhere. Maybe, it's a little difficult, but, you're reaching for something, and at least you were headed towards somewhere that was going to, provide a little bit of, like I said, relief or sunshine.
Cecil McBee is kind of the wild card. He's, in a lot of ways, the most adventurous composer of the group. He's definitely brought in music that, I don't want to say the most challenging, but it's challenged us in different ways. We definitely have to think a little differently when we're playing Cecil music, which is a really, really good thing. Slippin and Slidin is about the most traditional tune he's brought in. As adventurous of a composer as he is, and he's a very adventurous composer, he still comes from, what made jazz great. He still comes from the blues. He still comes from that harmonic richness of bebop and post-bop. So all of that stuff is in there. But on this particular tune, Slippin and Slidin, it's really more about the blues. It still has a twist in it. It still has a little Cecil McBee twist that takes it somewhere else. But at its heart, it's about the blues. And all these guys, who are some of the most adventurous players we have, at their heart, at their root, they can still play the blues.
Quite frankly, since then, the Cookers are the first group that's ever played it. And it's magic for me to hear my music played by such excellent voices, which is what I intended originally. Each and every performance gives to me what I intended in the first place. and even more, because it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it really gives you contact with, I think, the depth of what the blues is all about.